All right, so Corinne, how do I know what I should be investing in?
I think when you are trying to decide what to invest in, it can be a little bit overwhelming because it might seem like there's so many things to consider. There's so many options out there. Where do you even start? And it can really boil down just to three simple things. You need to consider first what it is that you're investing in. Do you understand how it works? Do you know what that investment is made of? Do you know what it aims to do for you? And then after that, if you can say like, yes, I understand this investment, I know the risks involved, then you want to consider where might you hold that type of investment. So there's lots of different places that we can put our investments, whether it's a certain type of account, typically something that we can own individually, or maybe we can get access through who we work for or how we work. So understanding which account is the best place to put that investment. And with that also comes considerations around taxes. So whenever we are investing, we always have to think about taxes and how they'll impact us. So that'll be another thing. And then the last is ultimately, how is it affecting your financial plan? We have a whole separate video on goals and another video on risk. So we really want to make sure that the investment that we're choosing considers our goals and our risk tolerance, how much risk we're comfortable taking.
So I feel like I usually hear about like the stock market as a place to invest our money, and from what I understand, like my um, retirement plan that I have through work is getting invested in like stocks and bonds, like a mix of that. What other things are people investing in? Like that's kind of what I'm familiar with. Are there other places I should be thinking about if I have extra money that I want to put somewhere?
Yeah, I hear that. I had always just assumed that when people talk about investing, they're talking about the stock market too. And there are so many other things that can allow us to make money, right? And that's what an investment really is something where you can put your money towards or put your money in, and hopefully that money makes money over time. So gosh, some other things that you can invest in outside of the stock market, or even the next big one that we hear about a lot, bonds, right? So what is there other than that? You can invest in real estate. You can invest in your own business. You can invest in other people's businesses. There are alternative investments, which we talk a bit about that in a separate video too. Things like cryptocurrency, or maybe like actual physical things like gold. Some people invest in art. Like we can see that often on people's accounts as well, or within their overall financial picture. Sometimes people invest in arts or collectibles. So it's not just stock. I mean, stock is very convenient and we can access it pretty easily through our retirement accounts, like you mentioned. But we can do some other cool things too. I think another thing to consider here is, what are you passionate about? And you could potentially put some money towards that as well if it fits in with your overall goals and how much risk you're willing to take.
I know with my employer, I have money that gets taken out of my paychecks and it goes into something, but where is it going? Like, is it automatically being invested into the stock market?
When you send money from your paycheck into a retirement account, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's being invested. Sometimes your 401k, for example, could be set up in such a way where your money automatically goes into a target date fund, for example. And we have a whole video on target date funds that you can watch. But sometimes it's automatically placed into an investment, but not always. Sometimes it'll just be sitting there inside the account waiting to be told where to go. And what that means is you have to decide which investments you want to put your money in inside that 401k. So just getting it in the account is the first step. Sometimes automatically from that point it'll get invested for you, but other times you have to actually go in and choose your investments yourself. So there are other videos that we have that talk a little bit more about how 401ks operate. So definitely take a look at that one. But yes, you definitely need to take some action, even at a minimum, just looking at where your money is once it hits that account.
So if it's not being automatically invested and it's just sitting there, that means it's just kind of like I put it in an account that's just sitting. It's not going to make me any money. I'll end up with the same amount of money 20 years later if it wasn't invested somewhere?
Yeah, usually it'll sit in like a little box inside that account, inside that 401k, inside that overall brokerage account that is essentially just cash. So it's not going to make any more than a checking account or a savings account at best. So it's not truly invested in the way that you initially intended by putting it in there.
Okay, so that sounds like a really important thing for us to all be checking to make sure that we've got everything invested in something.
Yes, definitely. And sometimes you can even find this answer out through if you work for a company, sometimes your HR department can let you know if there's a default that you're automatically invested in. And if you can't get an answer from them, then it would be a really simple thing for a certified financial planner to double check with you. It's just a matter of going into your account and poking around a little bit.
Great. So I have one more question on this. I try really hard to live by my values, and with the stock market, I feel like if you're just kind of selecting, um, like mine is in a target date fund. I know we talked about in another video for when I want to retire, but what if I wanted to start investing in more like social or values related causes that I care about?
I think that's such a cool thing to want to do and to want to incorporate inside your overall investment plan. And what's really great is that there are options for investing in a way that's aligned with your values that can be pretty simple. And we have a whole different video on values driven investing that you can definitely take a look at, but it's absolutely possible to do.